According to United Nations estimates, we produce over 10 billion metric tons of food annually. That is enough to feed the population of the entire planet with plenty to spare, and yet millions still go hungry or malnourished. And part of the reason is because of the waste that is inherent in our food system. And one way to address this is through waste reduction agencies, such as the local open access fridge. They provide pantry and community fridges where people can donate excess food.
So the Loaf, or the local open access fridge, is a free community resource, a free open source fridge. So there's a full-size fridge, a deep freezer, and pantry, and it is there for anyone to put any food or items like menstrual products, diapers, baby formula, anything for people to leave and anything for people to take. We operate on a take what you need, leave what you can basis. And I wasn't there when the name came to be.
Oh, right.
I think you folks...
We were sort of trying to figure out, come up with new names. We had one name and it was very similar to something else, so we kind of kept thinking about it. And actually, I think it was my partner who was like, explained what like local, like an open access. It's kind of, he's from tech world, and we were like, loaf, perfect, it's bread. And that was kind of how our little slice guy, slice character came to be. The name seemed like it really fit. Oh, I see the sign fell off. We can make a new one. Still some bread, always a big empty bag. Oh, did you see this new sign that someone put?
Yeah.
Got a list of what
so
people to bring,
nice.
which is great. Kelly had some schoolmates that were working on a very similar project, and me and two other people, sort of friends of friends, we connected to each other just through Instagram, and we were working on a project, so we sort of worked on community engagement and figuring out the project, and Kelly and her classmates had sort of found a spot. So we found each other through social media, and then so the two sort of groups got together, and then we just met over Zoom, made plans, and then the first time we met was building the structure for the fridge, and that was a really fun day because it was in mid-COVID, so it was like we all sort of showed up, met each other in person, and built something together essentially as strangers in a way. That was the beginning. I loved that day.
Me too.
That was everyone's like favorite day.
I think we even met before that when we denailed all of those pieces of wood, which we tried to source all of the materials for the structure for the loaf as inexpensively as possible and to repurpose items. So we went to Restore. And then there was a bunch of 2x4s, all of which had big nails. And so we spent the day denailing, which was full meditative.
Yeah. In the rain on Jess's
and the hail.
porch. Yes. That was because it was also when the price of wood like tripled. So it was sort of the only way we could do it. Yes. Local Democratic Socialists of Vancouver, they put upon themselves to like set up a weekly donation or monthly donation
to all the fridges.
And they've just put up a list of saying like what are the items that you want, which is fantastic. We have like information of like, yes, what is accepted and what isn't accepted. I just thought about now we could put like an online form of like what do you want to see in the fridge.
That's a great idea.
There's a challenge sometimes. We want to find the best. The social media stuff is the easiest way to communicate, so we always want to find ways that are like in person, actually here to connect and communicate. That's sort of like that's a more fun challenge. So what got me interested in doing the fridge was I have friends in Calgary who started the Calgary Community Fridge, and this was sort of just the beginning of the pandemic, first sort of year in the pandemic. Of course, you're just sort of on social media a little bit more, sitting at home. And I kind of got inspired by seeing what they were doing in Calgary, talking to my friend, like, how did it all work? How did you sort of get connected and make it happen? And it seemed like such a positive experience, and it just was clearly working. And so then I would see a little bit more of other fridges and this sort of whole idea, and thought, wow, it's perfect. Like, I want to do something for COVID that isn't donating your money or your time, but something like creating an actual resource that's like outside of the sort of charity structure of just giving. And so a friend who also, we have a mutual friend in Calgary, Jess, she really kind of was going through the same process as me. She had actually visited Calgary and was part of helping build their first structure in Calgary. And it just sort of, the story was actually Jess posted, like, does anybody want to do this? And I didn't know it was her. So I sent an email saying, I really want to do it. My friend did in Calgary. And of course, Jess wrote back and was like, it's me. Hi. And I was like, oh my gosh, let's do the project together. So then it just started. And I think wanting to help, but not even help, but just be part of something that's mutual aid. That's kind of the real core point of the whole loaf, is that it's not a charity, it's not a handout, it's like connecting communities to work together. And it's not a new thing. It's not like we did not invent this whatsoever. It's definitely what communities relied on to survive for many years, many generations.
So these are all our signs of what we can accept, what we can accept. What we can accept is lots of fresh fruits, fresh veggies, stuff from the garden, dry goods, grab-and-go foods that have been made in food-safe locations. Things like bread, pastries, eggs, dairy. And then you can see right now we have diapers, which is so nice to see. We accept diapers, menstrual products, formula, hygiene items like toothbrushes, toothpaste, pet food. And right now we can't accept anything, obviously, that you wouldn't want to eat. So anything expired or moldy, any half-eaten food. And unfortunately, we can't accept home-cooked food. We really need to make sure it's made in food-safe locations, and raw meat and seafood we can't accept either. As well as household items, just to make sure our loaf is food and necessary item focused.
Yes.
So we're really lucky that the loaf has so many supporters. When we first started, we had, I can't remember how many people signed up to volunteer, but many people sign up, an overwhelming amount. And so the loaf is entirely run and supported by volunteers. And the way we organize that right now, we have a Slack channel, just an online communication tool that we use to stay in touch with all the volunteers. And we have about 4 volunteers check in on the fridge daily. And I think we have about 40 super consistent folks checking the fridge all the time. And then we have people organizing food donations. We have folks who have started up a booth at the farmers market collecting donations of both food and monetary donations. And we have people picking up food from different grocery stores and driving around. And then we have a ton of people who aren't on the Slack who we know are just supporting the loaf in many different ways, whether that's spreading the word or cleaning up the fridge. We have folks who come by in our little cardboard ferries and take away cardboard that's been piling there. So many people that we don't know and many people that we do, that makes the loaf happen and operate. And so that's definitely been, I'd say, the best part of the loaf, seeing everyone come together and support it and really make it their own, which it is. It's everyone's project. It's everyone's fridge. Another one of our many signs. These are kind of our guidelines. So again, take what you need, leave what you can. We want to ensure that everyone does their best to keep the fridge clean and tidy. And if you wouldn't eat it, don't leave it. And of course, no fridge policing. So not monitoring what people are taking. Ensuring that people can take food with dignity and leave food with dignity as well.
Yeah, we also made a nice smaller writing, but we translated the most pertinent information in as many different languages that are most common in this neighborhood.
And I think the challenges we've seen, there's the general issue of food insecurity as a challenge, and this being a somewhat new way to address it. We know there's like existing organizations and systems that have offered band-aid solutions to food security, and this obviously isn't the be-all and end-all of solutions. It exists to support people and obviously isn't solving the issue of food insecurity, but with the issue of food insecurity, we see there's just such a need for the fridge, and there's somewhat of reliance on the fridge, which is wonderful that that exists, but also challenging when the fridge is emptied out. And we know that folks can be frustrated when it's empty. I think that's been a challenge. Mm-hmm. But we also really do believe that the fridge is everyone's. So people really do step up, and when they see the fridge empty, they'll go out of their way to try and fill it with what they can. There's been minor challenges like the fridge being unplugged, little things being cut, things being taken out of the fridge that we need, like our lights, or people leaving things that they feel like they can leave but aren't necessarily super helpful, like household items. We recognize people leave them, but it creates like clutter, and sometimes they're not picked up as fast as I think folks would have intended, so then they're left there.
Yep. There's currently a soggy pillow.
Mm-hmm. Up for grabs.
Yeah. So there's not tons this morning, but we do have someone from a kitchen, it looks like, brought some food, some breakfast. 2 lonely oranges. Like you're saying, lots of diapers. This just showed up in the past like 20 minutes, all this pasta. Then we have our little lockbox. That's just all our cleaning supplies and things that we give access to all the volunteers for.
Our deep freezer.
Lots of breadcrumbs.
Lots of bread. The loaf.
It's our darling loaf.
Another good local organization that is contributing to the reduction in food waste is Food Stash. They allow restaurants, farms, and other businesses to donate their excess food and allow people to have access.
Food Stash is a registered charity that was started in 2016. We rescue good food that would have otherwise gone to waste from grocery stores, farms, and wholesalers. And then we redistribute that surplus to other organizations within the community that have food programs, and then we also use it for our own programs as well. Some of those programs include our Rescued Food Market and our Rescued Food Box program. So the Rescued Food Market is an inclusive market that welcomes everyone to shop, and then our Rescued Food Box members get delivered a weekly box with produce and meat and dairy in it directly to their houses.
Was there already an apple box?
I was.
Oh, onions. I had an onion box going on near the sink there, I think.
Those apples look nice. So fresh. This is such an awesome thing you guys are doing.
So we rescue around 70,000 pounds of food per month, and majority of that goes to other charity organizations. So we partner with organizations in the downtown east side, and they use that food that we supply to use in their food programs. We also drop off food to community fridges as well. So there's the loaf fridge, which stands for local open access fridge. We'll refill those if we have extra, and then a small portion of that comes back to our own warehouse where we use it for our programs. So this Monday sort is food that we have collected over the weekend, and it kind of comes in all different boxes with all different kind of produce, and then we go through it with volunteers and we get rid of the rotten stuff, and then we sort it by types of vegetable so that it's easier to pack our boxes for members during the week. So the produce that we rescue is from grocery stores that was, a little bruised or had been on the shelves for a little while. And so for them, they would have been throwing it out or putting it in the compost. So then we come along and we grab that stuff from them. With meat and dairy, it's usually about to hit its expiry date or a little past it, and then we'll take it and we put it in our fridges and make sure it goes out as soon as possible. With our meat, we freeze it right away so that it's not going to go bad. And then we'll share it as quickly as possible so that people can enjoy that rescued food as quickly as possible before it gets even more past its expiry date. Today we've got maybe 3 volunteers helping us out. Nancy, she comes like almost every week and really knows the drill here. Our founder is David. He is a school teacher here in Vancouver, and he saw a documentary kind of about how much food is wasted here in Vancouver. And so he went on a mission to rescue that food and give it to people who need it. So it started with just him and a couple volunteers in the back of like a minivan. We've also got our driver dropping off produce that he's picked up today. So some of our suppliers in Vancouver include Whole Foods and Stong's in North Van, Save On Foods, and then we work with some farms as well. So we work with Stable Harvest Farm. They're a farm that donates all of the produce that they make. We get a lot of food from them in the summer, and Farm Folk City Folk as well.
Okay. Oh, here it is. Oh, nice. Hi. Hi, how are you? How's it going? Oh, good. How are you? Hi.
So what makes us different than a food bank is that we're trying to offer some fresh and healthy produce to people that would have otherwise not have access to that. So often people are getting offered food that is canned or processed, and we're trying to offer a dignified experience to healthy and good food.
When the time comes to fly away with you, there won't be to do but hear your siren song and taste the nectar all summer long. Lying here with you just reminds me of the hazy view, and there won't be that much to do but I hear your siren song and taste that nectar all summer long, all summer long.